I think of AI as, technological tool, right? Paradigm shifting tool, a really important tool, but just, another tool in the toolkit of, the product builders. So for us, AI is, we think of AI as we start with our user problems, our customer problems. Here are the problems that our customers are facing. And now, what is the best method to solve that problem? What's the best technology to solve that problem? A lot of times it is AI, which is great. Other times it's not, right? Like other times it's more changes in the workflow. Other times it's more, integrating with a different, creating a different data pipeline, integrating into a different, different tool set. Maybe even taking data out of Marvin could be a solution. So it always starts with customer problems. Now, more and more, what we are seeing is as AI's capabilities are expanding, we can do a lot more and solve a lot more problems using AI that we didn't think we would be able to solve at all, right? But in the end, to me and to our product team, and that's the message I have for everyone. AI is groundbreaking technology, but it's a technology, and technology is there to serve the user. Use it as another big tool in your tool set.
What are some of those challenges you see when you're trying to integrate AI technologies into your product, and how are you overcoming this?
I think it's the first part. It's basically trying to understand what is the problem that our customers are solving, what is the most urgent problem that they have, and trying to really understand, really grok that problem. And that's why I think user research is so important in the world today. It's AI is advancing very rapidly, and there are all these new solutions that are coming up every day. You guys are doing all this amazing stuff, right? But to really so you will have a variety of things that you could build. But what is it that really makes an impact on our users' lives? Right, that's the most that becomes more and more important. As AI can do more and more of the building part. Like AI can write code, AI can do design, right? Like, but not entirely, but that's kind of what the promise is. As the other parts become kind of more and more automated, really understanding what needs to be built, the what becomes or the why becomes so much more important than the how. So I think that's, to me, that's probably the most important piece of the whole equation. But look, I'm biased, right? Like I'm a user researcher by training. I talk to researchers and designers all day. So I'm obviously, slightly biased. I would definitely acknowledge that. But I still think that that's the biggest piece of building any product, is really understanding what are the challenges and why are we building this, and what are the problems that we need to solve for our customers. I think qualitative data is the way in which a lot of these decisions need to be made. And I'll probably ruffle a few feathers by saying that I just don't think there is enough of quantitative data for most people, most companies, most products out there to make entire decisions on what are the problems that we are facing, right? Like, what is a challenge that our customers are facing? Like that does require someone having that conversation with the users. And I'm not saying every company needs a 300-person research team. Some companies do, or a 1,000-person research team. What I'm saying is, whether that's designers, whether that's even customer success managers, that conversation needs to be happening kind of on an ongoing basis, and that conversation is all qualitative, right? Like that. So unless you are actually there is no survey, no A/B test that you can run that can really get you to empathize and get not just your entire organization to empathize with the customer, right? And so I feel like that is the most important piece to solve that problem. And how does that impact the AI? As I said, right, like as we are doing more and more with AI, that becomes kind of the how and the why becomes, or the what and the why becomes the most important pieces. The how becomes kind of less and less important. So,
do you have any thoughts on maybe how we can better empower people in their day-to-day life to better use this technology in the way it's meant to be used?
we don't get to tell our users how they use our technology. Okay. We as builders do not then go around and get to dictate that, oh, you didn't use our technology right. And I'll tell you why. Like, can you imagine if I was, the chief data officer or chief privacy officer at Facebook, Meta, right? And then like people are complaining, hey, Meta is like, leaking out our private data, or like there are all these apps that are getting all this, sucking out of my data into there through via Facebook. Now I, as a data, as Facebook, don't get to tell you, oh, why did you add these apps, right? Like I don't get to tell you how to use the technology. Once the technology is out there, it's the users, it's they who decide how to use those technology. So sure, we can talk about, oh, the user is uneducated. No, the user is not uneducated. You did not build the right technology, or you did not build the technology the right way, right? So I'm much, I'm a gray beard, right? I remember the time when there used to be, the RTFM, read the effing manual, was like the mantra, especially in the open source community. But even they moved away from it, right? Like you don't get to decide. You don't get to tell your users how to use technology. You get to design the technology in the best way you can, and you better better do your homework, because the users will use the technology in the best way it serves them. Technology is to serve humans. It's not the other way around. It all starts with user needs. It all starts with what is the challenge that the customers have. And look, that challenge might not even be, the user might not even know about a certain challenge. You have to tease them. You have to talk to them. You have to like go and like, engage with them, have a conversation with them, run surveys, like whatever you're using to get, talk to your customer success team, right? Really try to nail down what is the challenge that the customers have, and then from that you talk about what is it, how can we best solve those challenges. Ideally, once you have figured out a solution, you actually go and like validate that with your customers and say, hey, here is what I'm thinking. Would this workflow, here is a rough chat, here's a chart, here's a rough diagram, would this workflow help, right? Let them talk you through how this will work in their existing, and how this will fit into their existing workflow. Now, once you have established, hey, here is the solution, that's when you go and look for, the best AI technology out there to solve a certain, to solve that problem, right? AssemblyAI is doing amazing work, and a lot of times, we rely on Assembly to be the tool of choice, especially when it comes to audio, video, and intelligence there, and transcription, so on. At the same time, we do have other vendors that we sometimes look at and be like, what is it that that this particular solution requires, and what is the best vendor out there to go and pick to solve that problem. And that's kind of how we end up kind of building out these solutions. If I give you an example, a lot of times our customers were coming to us and say, hey, we are storing all this like video data on your platform, like all this, we've talked to all these customers, and these are like very large companies, some of the largest financial institutions in the world, right? And they're like, we have all this customer data, and now we are getting concerned because our legal team is saying now you have to delete that data, or we're concerned about all this privacy that the participant had, privacy issue that the participant might have with like us storing this data for you. So what we did was we went around and we looked at what customers were doing, and essentially they were using like video editing software to either strip out the video or hide the video or bunch of they were kind of doing all these hacks, and we're like, oh, what if we could strip out PII from this video solutions, right? Or from these videos, like if we can automatically remove, maybe somehow remove the video or remove like people's faces. We went and validated that idea. People loved it, right? And then we went around and guess what? Like AssemblyAI had a solution that could do exactly what we wanted them to do. And we basically just like used that. And it was a really good feature set that our enterprise customers really appreciate. But it always starts from, hey, we can't do XYZ. What can we do? And that's kind of how you and that's kind of the journey that I recommend.